What's that?
Are you going to answer any questions for us since you're here, or are you taking off?
I have the final meeting to receive the rest of the preliminary report from the auditors in 2 minutes via Zoom.
Well, yeah, but this has been going on now since March, right?
I'll be happy
It's
to
been going on since
answer
February.
2 minutes of questions, but yeah.
Hey, don't you think it's, based on the speech that we just heard, I think that this is probably of utmost importance. A lot of power brokers in the state here, a lot of people are quite curious about this grift that's been running. And frankly, there's a lot of state legislators here too. I mean, I think this is politics 101. Let's have a conversation on what we can do to install some confidence rather than running a massive grift with an audit where you guys are raising a ton of money and the Republican Party's raising a ton of money and there's a bunch of shenanigans. This is all nonsense.
Daniel, I would have been happy if that was part of our agenda today to have been part of
It's the agenda today. It's the agenda today. We got some state legislators in here.
John Birch Society deserves that agenda. John Birch Society deserves that opportunity. No, you were invited here, and you listened to a speech about the Constitution, about what's going on, and then you run out of here and bolt out of the room. Give us some answers on what's going on.
What are the?
We'll take care of your business.
I'm sorry, I have a meeting that I committed to be at, just like this one.
All right.
And I'm going to honor both commitments. Thank you.
So let's talk to the state legislators.
Let's talk about it later.
We got a few state legislators in this room, so after all
and
y'all...
she gets Russian money, by the way.
Well, after you guys heard what you just heard, what are you going to do about it?
Let's follow the agenda for the meeting.
No, Verl.
No.
So
Mike
the state legislators in here, let's talk about what you guys are going to do after what you just heard.
This is politics. This is how it works. John Birch Society. Mike has done a remarkable
Thank you for
job.
inviting us, by the way.
Mike has done a remarkable job of bringing some people in this room.
Yeah.
And we have state legislators in this room. By the way, as I want to point this out, as Trump was being stolen from, and the state legislative body's job was to make sure those electors didn't go to him. That was the job, to make sure that our governor. Now, when this 36787 is sitting there and putting masks on my kids and putting needles in our arm, and we're sitting here at lunches, those days are gone. Those days are gone.
Daniel, that's not the purpose of this meeting.
It's the purpose of every meeting. John Birch Society requires this. He just said we have an obligation for this.
No, I'm not going to sit down.
You guys ran interference on the Rusty. Hey, you're part of the problem. Listen, hold on, really quick. No, you are. You ran direct interference on the Rusty recall.
No,
Yes, you did.
Listen, hold on a second. Hold on, I want to have a conversation in this room. Hold on. This is
totally
I'm
inappropriate.
sorry, sir.
Sit down, Earl.
Sir.
I'm not going to sit down. It's inappropriate.
Hey.
That's not the purpose of this.
Go ahead, Daniel.
And do it at the end when the rest of the
Is it not the end? I waited till the end, sir.
It's not.
I waited till the end.
You haven't waited till the end.
So I'm going to step in here.
We have the Speaker of the
Explain
House.
what he did.
The Speaker of... Now, let me explain this really quick, Mike, please. I'm begging you.
Credibility.
I don't want credibility.
We're in a war, Verl. This isn't
what I
about
want.
it.
This is what I want. Where's Matt Salmon and our other state legislator that just ran out of here and scurried their tails out of here? As he brought in the Confucius... let's talk about the Confucius Center. Let's talk about ASU. Let's talk about Michael Crow. Let's talk about Doug Ducey.
Definitely
Then
talk about
schedule an appointment to do it.
The appointment is scheduled.
Appointment.
That's what
We're
today
here.
is. We're all here having a great lunch. What is it about?
This was not to come here and schedule your personal agenda.
We're trying to save the state.
This is what I'm trying to do.
We're trying to save the country,
This is what I
Verl.
want to do with my time.
I've sat in a room with you as you tried to run interference.
I have millions of dollars. I can do whatever I want to do. You think I want to be sitting here with you?
Please take your seats, everyone. Take your seats, please. Okay?
So let's explain what happened.
Please.
Okay, we had the Rusty recall effort. We ran the Rusty recall
Speaker of the
effort.
House.
Now, one person in this room, as we were running that Rusty recall effort, jumped in, gave capital, made sure we could do what we needed to do. No one. We worked our tail off. I had my volunteers busting their tail to hold the guy responsible that did this to us.
And he ran interference, direct interference.
Direct interference. You sat there and spied on my people.
I've been in a meeting with
I know what's
you.
going
I know
on
what
here.
you did, Verl.
I'm sorry? Mrs. Salmon? Okay, we have a situation. It's dire. It's not a game anymore. You're talking about forced inoculations. My kids aren't going to have vaccines. No more masks. Let's talk about how do we make sure that doesn't happen here.
Failed
So we've got...
because it was improperly run, and they didn't meet all of the statutes.
They
It has
filed
nothing
how many-
to do
how many-
with anybody else.
How many recalls were you grifting off of?
With
I don't know what
we
you're
the
talking
people.
about.
You
and
worked with we the people. How many did you
How many
do?
did you guys run? Against Doug? Against every board of supervisors?
Yeah, and how did that work
How did
out?
it go out for you? We had 24,500
It
signatures.
doesn't matter what you did to
So
accomplish
we've
the
got
task.
two state legislators in here.
Listen, my family's good, right? My kids are good. I can afford whatever schooling I need. My kids are never going to, my family, nobody in my family wears masks. No one in my family is going to have a vaccine. I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for me. What I'm doing this for is because, listen, we have a problem here, okay? We have a problem. and we're going to get behind closed doors like this. We're going to have a nice speaker. I've done these things a million times over. Where's Matt Salmon? Where's our other state representative? He's running for governor. Mr. McGuire, I'm sorry, sir. Last time I checked, as our governor was standing there enforcing unconstitutional mask mandates on my kids, I saw you with one on. Now let me tell you something. That stuff doesn't work. That stuff doesn't fly. I'm not here for politics. I don't care about his political office. It's the last thing in the world I wanted to do. No more.
McCarthy?
Yes,
I am
Mr.
a member of the legislature.
Yeah.
And I want to say this to what you were saying. There are people in the legislature which are making moves and have approached leadership in the legislature to actually have a nullification committee. And what you might not be party to is some of the actions that we are doing in the backside trying to do it, because we are not standing on a stage. Quite frankly, I find that your actions here today
Of course.
John,
my approach.
John, did you tell me the other day that you did not believe they would be able to perpetrate the fraud and rigging that they did in 2020 in 2022? Did you tell me that?
Yes, I did.
So you do not believe there will be fraud at the...
I believe that there's going to be too much light
Okay.
shine.
So here's our state
the,
legislator saying there will be no fraud in 2022.
We had the conversation.
Yep, we did.
And in the conversation, you said the voting is rigged. There's nothing we can do.
Is the voting rigged?
You gave up.
I gave up?
One day,
Oh my
one
God.
vote. One day, one vote on paper, in person.
Does anyone believe that the voting is real at this point? Who believes that the voting is real right now?
Here's our representative. Thanks for listening.
They walk out on the people. This is what they do.
Guys, I can't get an appointment.
Who believes the voting is real? Does anyone, by raise of hand, believe that our elections are legitimate at this point?
Anybody?
Okay.
By raise of hands, no one. Go ahead, John.
If you don't have the vote, what is your suggestion?
The vote for what?
If you don't have the
rally the public support.
John,
get it.
you're giving up. You're giving up before you even start.
Legislation
Yes?
or the gun? You pick it.
Well, you
Yeah, there
made
you
the
go.
choice for us, sir.
There you go. Look at that. There's your representative. You have two
That's what we have to deal with in Arizona.
Sorry, Mike.
That is our Republican Party in Arizona. They literally tell us we don't have the votes, we
Where's
can't
Matt
get
Salmon?
it done.
Gentlemen, whose meeting is this?
It's ours
It's
now.
it's
Mike's. This is the John Birch
Who's
Society.
point?
For this room.
I was asked to pay for this room. Mike from the John Birch Society has been kind enough to put these people in the room together. I don't lose sight of opportunities like that. 2 years ago, who would have thought we'd be in this situation? Now we're here. So now that we are, let's talk about it.
Whose meeting is this?
It's
How many people are going to be
All right,
losing
you
their
gentlemen,
jobs
I-
because of these unconstitutional mandates? And our state legislature, our governor, our attorney general is not doing anything effective to stop this. So when are we going to have these conversations? Is this not the room to have the conversation in? Are these not the right people?
Not right now.
Why not? When
there
then?
are
When then,
people
sir?
here that have other things that they have scheduled to do.
This is
is
the
not
most important thing,
to be here all
sir.
afternoon.
This
I
is
know, Bill, it's
this is
okay.
the most
Okay, it's
important
time
thing.
to sit down and let the meeting complete.
the meeting is
That-
happening right now.
the
This
meeting
the
is not over.
This is
We
the
have
meeting.
one state representative left. Thank you for staying. What can you do?
Gentlemen, please sit down. It's not your meeting.
We have one
It's
state
the John-
legislator left in
Sit
here.
down, please.
Sir,
It's
I'm not
your-
going to sit down
No,
at this moment.
it's not your meeting. It's the John Birch Society's meeting.
Listen, we
Yes,
said
ma'am.
our part. We'll leave. We'll leave. We've said our part. No, I'm not staying.
We have
Go
a
ahead.
plan, and I'm sitting here taking notes on like stuff we can do. So we have passed a law that will stop the schools from requiring master mandates. We passed that. We got that through. So if a school is telling your kids they have
This
to
isn't
get
about
masks
schools.
and vaccines, that's illegal now. We've done that.
That's part of it.
We learned today that like we can sign the nullification declarations. We're gonna do that. Like we're working on this stuff, and the reason that Representative Fillmore is more confident in the 2022 elections is because we have gotten a lot of good fixes through, and we're working on more fixes.
Don't you-
Ma'am,
We
that's
are taking it through the
fundamentally
process.
untrue. So I've dealt with, I mean, we've been at the forefront of this election. So
We know
so
all
it
of them.
fundamentally
We know all of them.
are the okay? So are the machines still involved in the elections?
For going forward.
Is there
Yes.
mail-in ballots?
In 2022,
Yeah,
will the
we
machine?
can't.
So will
Why
the
can't we
machine?
get rid of mail-in
Hold on,
ballots?
hold on.
We don't have the
Will the machines be
Get 'em.
utilized?
Get them.
We're working on it.
Will the
We're
machines be
working on it.
utilized
We're
in
recruiting
2022?
people. Yeah, we're recruiting
Okay.
people actively, and we're trying to. We still have one legislative session left. We're going to try to get in there, fix all of that stuff. We do have to have votes, and the legislature is in a situation where we only have a one-person majority.
That's
which
correct.
is very hard to maneuver.
The guy we tried to
So-
recall, right?
By,
Yeah.
by
Yeah,
what you
so-
mean, by what you
yeah.
mean by fix all that stuff is you mean remove the use of machines in the state. Is
Yes,
that what you
and
mean?
we are working on that, yeah, we're trying to get
So-
rid of the machine,
Okay.
we're trying to get rid of the automatic electronic ballot, you know.
This state has been taken over by communists.
Agreed.
In our own party, the Republican Party, they are corrupt.
Where is Salmon? Where is the other
He
guy?
walked out. Why are they? Anyone that walked out at this point, I feel is a part of the problem. Because that means that they don't want to hear from us because they knew what was coming. Pressure needs to be put
does
on
need to
Ducey
happen.
right now to call a special session of the legislature no later than the end of October to address not only election integrity but also this medical terrorism that we're facing. There are so many people in this state that are being faced with losing their livelihoods. They're not going to be able to feed their kids, put a roof over their kids' heads because their employers are requiring that they be jabbed in order to continue to work there. And that's happening within the next 30 days.
While we've got Mrs. Parker here, if I could as well, we hear the common excuse from our state legislators that they can't run our bill because our bill doesn't have the support from other state legislators. With all due respect, that is not the job. Your job is to introduce a bill to fix it. Let us and let your constituents and let the state rally support around you and push the other politicians to support your endeavors. We need bill champions to take our bills that fix the problems, run them, and then you've got to work those to the bone. That's what politics is. That's what you signed up for.
No, and I agree with that. The situation is the solutions that you want, those have all been proposed. So you drop a bill, it gets assigned to committee.
I know the process.
And then it
Ledge Council tells you it's illegal, so you have to ignore Ledge Council
I have
because
to ignore Ledge Council.
Yeah.
And
I know how the
but
process
then
works really well.
It dies in committee. So the government committee heads are making that decision. So you guys need to go talk to Representative Kavanaugh and make him hear the bills in committee.
You think he's going to
And then
listen?
you
We need to
talk
expose anyone that won't sign on
Senator
to this.
Ugenti Rita.
That's
So,
And hear
so
those
If they won't
respectfully,
sign on to it,
no
that
more,
shows you
no
where
more
they
of the
stand.
legislature covering for each other because that's typically what happens. The
Yeah.
the body.
There's a process.
So
though.
the process-
There's an order and a process, and we are doing the very best we can. In fact, this is like a part-time job, and we've been working 24/7 this whole year
Understood.
to get all of these things through. And we're doing the best we can. We're creating a lot of improvements. We've done a lot of good things, and yeah, it won't be 100% probably by the 2022 election if we don't have the votes. But for the 2024 presidential, we need to have it fixed.
2022 is what matters, ma'am.
It does.
If
We're
our,
working
so
on it.
we're not worried about the president. You
I know, but we're
know,
gonna
respectfully,
do
we're
that.
not worried about DC. You know what I'm worried about? I'm worried about our state legislature after 2022 when they rig it and it flips to a Democrat-controlled legislature.
Marco Lopez.
I'm also
Remember when
I'm
we
also
lost it
worried
20
about
years
Marco
ago?
Lopez.
Remember when we lost it 20 years ago to Janet Napolitano? It's almost like
Okay.
history repeating
So let's
itself.
sit down.
It's almost like history repeating
Then
itself.
let's